Let's continue here. Worrying news from the Police Minister Bheki Cele this week. More than 12,000 cases of rape were reported in the last 3 months of 2020. But Cele says 129 life sentences were handed down to suspects in cases relating to gender-based violence. The CEO of People Opposing Women Abuse is Mamakgotla Makgaba. She's joining us now to talk more about this. Very good evening to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. So when you look at the numbers presented by the Police Minister yesterday, Friday, a 5% increase in reported sexual offences, 12,218 people were raped just between October and December of 2020. It all makes for very depressing reading, and you wonder if we will ever come out of the violence in our society.
Thank you so much. I'm still in disbelief. It's not me alone, together with other civil society organizations and fellow South Africans. The stats, honestly speaking, if you look into the 12,218, it's such a very, very huge number, particularly within 3 months period, which is quarterly for quarter 3 of the financial year 2020 to 2021. You know, it's unbelievable and unwanted and unacceptable, particularly. Remember, there is political will in as far as this thing of dealing with gender-based violence is concerned. But how do we become accountable as leaders, you know, where we talk of non-sexist and non-violent society, where we still see lots and lots of women being killed every day? Every day a woman is killed, a woman is raped, you know, a woman is abused, either at home or public spaces or any other place or on the street. We are not feeling safe and secure as women in this country. So I'm saying, as an organization opposing women abuse, we are saying the stats really shows that we don't treat gender-based violence as the second pandemic. Yes, they said that, but in action it's not treated like it's a state of emergency in the country.
And Mary mentioned women being abused in the home. Another shocking number from the presentation by the police minister was that 4,900 of the violent attacks at the end of last year took place either at the home of the victim or the home of the rapist. So how do we tackle that violence at that level? Because often people think about preventing attacks on the side of the road or in a club. But when 4,900 women possibly are being abused in the home, how do we deal with that?
Thank you so much. Women are being abused in their homes because of economic reasons. Majority of our women are unemployed. Even in our shelters, we accommodate women between the age of 18 to 35 years, those who don't have skills altogether. And then in our shelters, we give them therapeutic skills because we don't have the financial capacity to empower them economically to be independent so that they don't return to their perpetrators. Another contributory factor for these cases, particularly with rapists, to be happening at their home states is because these women, they don't have trust and confidence in the criminal justice system. Some of the cases are withdrawn. Some of the cases are not handled properly. So some people, they don't want to report because at the end of the day, after reporting cases, they don't have a roof on top, they're not working, they want to return back to the perpetrators. So if we can implement the National Strategic Plan on gender-based violence under the pillar which talks of economic empowerment of women, economic justice, that will work, where women must be given access to housing, access to land, because in certain rural communities, women are still treated as minors, as children, because only a man can register for a vacant land in the rural communities. If we can empower these women and make sure that we implement the National Strategic Plan, these rape cases will definitely not happen. But we don't want to talk of stats because as far as our power stance is concerned, as people opposing women abuse, we are saying 1 woman killed, 1 woman raped, 1 woman abused to us is too many. We don't want to talk of the figures, you know.
And just on the National Strategic Plan to fight gender-based violence and femicide, you talk about how we need to focus on the economic part of that plan because a lot of women are without employment, they're dependent on their partners for an income and to survive on the daily, right? How do we make sure that that plan is implemented optimally? Because often with our plans, they're great on paper, but they're not living documents.
Thank you for sharing the same sentiments with me. Let me tell you the honest fact. We have the supreme law of the country, which is the Constitution of RSA 108 of 1996. We've got good policies, VEP policies. We've got Domestic Violence Act 116 of 1998. We've got many, many policies and laws that are in place. South Africa, we are very much far advanced in Africa in as far as policies that we have in place. The challenge is implementation. If you can have a look and you Google the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide, this thing should not be happening if they were to be implemented. Because just to quote some of the other things, they're talking of key interventions, key activities, indicators, to be implemented, and the targets and reporting. If we can implement this national strategic plan as a sense of agency and treat gender-based violence as much as we treat coronavirus, we can be on the right the right direction.
And Police Minister Bheki Cele said yesterday that while the statistics are so grim, he finds solace or some encouragement in the fact that about 129 life sentences have been handed down to perpetrators of this level of violence. Do you think that will assist in making women who've become despondent, who've lost faith in the system, in encouraging them to come forward and report rape and other violence against them?
We are driving the issue of zero tolerance approach. We don't want to be hearing so many life sentences, so many verdicts passed for this type of offenses. We want to see zero tolerance, where one quarterly in future, we don't hear any stats of anybody, any woman, any girl, any person, whether it's your aunt or your relative or anybody. Nobody must be raped. We want to feel safe and secured in terms of NDP 2030 vision, to ensure that we can be able to walk free at night, go wherever we want to go. In fact, these stats, we are just praying that in the near future, when we start implementing, with government is becoming serious to deal with like coronavirus, there must be zero statistics reported. We want to bring the zero stats where women are feeling safe, they're not being attacked, they're not being killed, they can walk at night, go anywhere without being accompanied by their partners or their relatives, including children.
Mary Mamakgotla Makgaba from People Opposing Women Abuse, thank you so much for speaking to us on eNCA tonight.